Hi, I'm Todd Bailey, the online sports editor at the Des Moines Register. I'm joined by Andrew Logue, our Cyclones football beat writer, and Randy Peterson, Hawkeyes football beat writer. Randy, we'll start with you since the Hawkeyes had a game this weekend, although Iowa fans probably don't want to talk about it. What happened?
5 fumbles, or 5 turnovers, 4 fumbles and an interception. The key to me, though, was people say that it was Andy Brodell's fumbled punt return at the end of the half that Northwestern turned into points. That was huge. That was big. Don't get me wrong, but I think the biggest situation for Iowa was Sean Green getting hurt with 12 minutes to go in the game. Northwestern did not stop Sean Green all day. He could have carried the ball 70 times and whatever, but he got hit pretty good. He took a pretty good lick on a legal hit. It was high, but it was not helmet to helmet. At least the initial wasn't helmet to helmet. It was shoulder to shoulder, and then maybe the helmet connected. But anyway, Sean Green fumbled, but more importantly, Sean Green went to the sidelines with a headache. They said it wasn't a concussion; it was a headache. Iowa was very, like all schools are, they're very protective of head injuries these days. So he sat the bench for the final 12 minutes as Northwestern rallied to win. Iowa had the ball first and goal at the 8-yard line, a little more than a minute to go. I'm convinced that Iowa would have given the ball to Sean Green 4 times, let him try to get 2 yards a carry on those 4 carries, since he's averaging about 6.7 this season. But with him out of the lineup and with a freshman running back who's as light as you are,
which isn't very light,
light as you used to be. Anyway, so they decided to pass it, and 4th down there were 3 incompletions and a batted down pass. So that was it. So therefore, I think if Sean Green would have been in there, Iowa would have won.
Now, looking ahead, Michigan State, Iowa, 2 pretty similar teams.
Yeah.
How do you see the matchups?
I think it'll be Javon Ringer from Michigan State, who leads the country in rushes with 187. Divide that by 5 and figure out what you get. 187 rushes. That's incredible. He's number 2 rusher in the country, obviously, because of all the attempts. Against Sean Green. It's 2 very similar teams. Neither team stresses the pass. Both teams are play old school smash mouth football. So I think it'll be a fun game to watch. I mean, you're going to have, seriously, it's going to be teams are going to just run up and down the field. Probably won't be a lot of points scored, but it'll be a lot of rushing.
So you won't see much passing in that game.
I hope not.
In Ames, you might see a little bit of passing.
In fact, you'll probably see about 30. I think Reesing leads second in the nation with 32.5 attempts per game. So a lot of throwing, and then basically with Kansas, their passing game is the running game because they pepper you with little 3, 4, 5 yard passes, and the idea is make the defense react. You never know when you're going to break one.
Iowa State struggles defending the run, so this is good. Team coming to town that doesn't run the ball much, but how does that translate in defending the pass and what Kansas does with their passing game?
I think the 2 things to rush is unlike a Michigan State-Iowa game, it's not so much a steady thing, it's when you give up the runs. If Todd Reesing runs upfield for 17 yards and gets a key first down, can be just as demoralizing as grinding it out. And also, too, when they do hand it off, you got to control them. You can't give up, again, the big gains. You can average 3.2 a carry, which is about what Kansas is doing, actually 3.9. But if they run up and get first downs and they get big 17, 18-yard gains on those, no matter what the average is, it's when those running plays come.
Lost to Iowa, then a gut-wrenching loss to UNLV. Was the week off good?
Yeah, I think it absolutely was. I think one thing that happened, if you remember a year ago, the Toledo game, a heartbreak, and then you went right into Texas Tech, and I think they were down 28-0 there. I think the week off. I think Chizik said it gave him a chance to look back and just kind of reevaluate that, hey, look how young we are. 11 true freshmen have played, 6 redshirt freshmen, and this is a learning curve. And it gave him a chance to pause. When you have that week off, things aren't as bad as they seem, and if you had won, they wouldn't be as good as you seem.
Entertainment purposes only. Iowa State, 13-point underdog. But I kind of like the Cyclones getting 13 points at home in this game.
I kind of do, as long as the offense doesn't start out the way they did at UNLV. If the offense is consistent, if Austin Arnott, frankly, can carry on what he did in the second half of that game, I think it could be a very interesting game going into the 4th quarter.
I was getting my hair cut last night, which is a disaster, and I was listening in to other
So you ought to
people
be like
talking.
me. I don't have that much hair, and what I do have, I dye gray.
A mom and a son talking, and the son says, "Who did they play this weekend?" The mom says, "Michigan State." And the son says, "Oh, well, they're no good." And
Yeah.
the mom says, "Well, neither is Iowa." I mean, is it starting to get to that point where people are starting to get frustrated? You lose at home to Northwestern, that's gonna get the boo birds out again.
If you lose at home against Northwestern on homecoming, the people have a legitimate right to wonder who Iowa can beat. They play at Michigan State, as we know, Saturday. Then they play at Indiana the following Saturday. Indiana's never been easy for Iowa, or at least in recent years. And you still haven't played. They still haven't played Wisconsin, Penn State, at Minnesota, so Purdue. So if you can't beat Northwestern, and we Northwestern may be a phony 5-0. I've heard that, but they look pretty good on Saturday. So yeah, fans are frustrated. Fans are extremely frustrated. They're calling for everybody's head. The best thing they can do is win, but it'll be tough. I mean, you were talking about Iowa State being an underdog. Iowa's an 8.5-point underdog. So, and Iowa may not be favored in a game this year, in a remaining game this year. I don't know who it would be. So, it could be a long year.
Okay, so Randy hits the road. Have a safe trip. Andrew gets to make the short drive up to Ames, have fun on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Keeler, obviously I'm filling in for this week. He's covering the Chicago Cubs in the playoffs and trying to make a World Series run. He's got a prediction on that.
Cubs.
Look for the Royals next year.
Andrew's not right in the head. All right,
I gotta call him as I see him.